Hello, welcome to the Lone Show. I'm your host, John Malone. In this episode, no regulars, because reasons, as always. As for our guest, he is from Jackson, Mississippi, currently in Jackson, Mississippi. He survives on his disability from the military, but he's also a podcaster. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Chris Williams.
Hello, how you doing?
Going great.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome. So, how's life?
Well, life is an elevator. It has its ups and downs, but doing well, all things considered.
Nice, nice. Is there anything you're currently working on at the moment?
Well, right now, mostly what I'm working on is our podcast, of course. Um, and we've changed directions actually at the beginning of the year, and we started talking about different things from what we had originally started talking about, which was mostly geopolitical. But now we're talking about things like home defense, personal survival, things like that.
Ah, all right then. So, as a podcaster, what is your podcast about?
Well, it's still growing and morphing. Um, we started out talking about the problems with American politics primarily and the direction the American politics has taken our country, you know, in general. And in our country, I know a lot of people look at the USA as being the strongest and wealthiest country in the world, but unfortunately, that really isn't the case, you know. So when we started this podcast, we wanted to talk about those things. We wanted to talk about things that were happening that cause us problems, and not just America, everybody, you know. And but at the first of the year, we changed direction, like I said, and we went to more of talking about self preservation, um, preserving of life, survival, home defense, things like that.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. And how long have you been doing the podcast for?
This podcast has been going since September of 2022, and it actually was birthed out of another podcast that I was doing that was more along the, it's more on the Christian format. But the more I started talking about stuff like I was talking about that led into the Constitution Commandos, the more I decided that I needed to start another podcast and separate it from, my Christian podcast. So this podcast has actually been going since September 2022.
Fantastic. What was life for you growing up?
Oh, growing up. That was interesting, actually. I didn't realize it at the time because most of my childhood was spent going to racetracks, passing out business cards for my dad, who was actually working into building racing engines. And ultimately, that's what he did. And he did very well at it. And I didn't look at it as a really cool thing back then because it was always about work, I guess. And now talking to friends of mine, they're like, "Wow, you know Bobby Allison, and you know these all these race car drivers. Yeah, well, they're just people, you know." But I did that. Me and my brother both grew up in that arena. But I started a rock and roll band when I was 16, and I did that up until 2005, I think it was. And you know, the life really isn't much different between racing and rock and roll. It's all pretty much the same. So, but that's most of my childhood and early adulthood. And then I finally went in the Navy when I was 27 years old. I was pop in boot camp, and My brother also went in the army, and third generation veteran pride, that sort of thing. And we believe strongly, no matter what we did as a child. I mean, the racing was interesting. It was fun. The music was a lot of fun, but there's nothing like having served your country for something that's much bigger than you, right?
Yeah. If you were given 500 acres of land, what would you use that land for?
Hmm. Well, I'm sure it would depend on the land, but I think 5 acres of land or 500, you said 500 acres, right?
Yeah,
I do believe 500 acres would take care of a small community anyway. I mean, if the land was right, we could have, you know, um, plenty of food grown there, uh, cattle, by all means. I mean, you got to have cattle, right? Um, I think I would turn 500 acres into like a refuge for people who needed it because it could be used for so many different things.
nice. Sounds pretty good. Where do you see yourself 20 years from now?
Hmm. Wow. I actually try not to look that far ahead. I really don't know. I think, I don't know, 20 years from now, I would probably see myself helping people just like I do now. I mean, or try to anyway. I would hope I'd be better at it by then. But 20 years from now, I ought to add a little more wisdom, ought to add a little more education, and hopefully add a little more insight to humanity, just so I could help people out.
Absolutely. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Oh, that's a loaded question. I got family all over the globe. I would love to see Ireland. I don't know if I want to live there or not. I hear it's rainy and cold most of the time, but there are a lot of places in this country that I live in that I love that are beautiful. Montana's one of them. Arizona's beautiful. Uh, but anywhere in the world, it's kind of hard to say. I haven't been to a whole lot of places in the world, but in this country, there are a lot of places that would be nice to live in. You know what I mean? It is a beautiful country.
Yes, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Would you rather speak all languages or talk to animals?
I talk to animals every day. So- but all languages, no, I don't think I would like to speak all languages. It'd be nice to be able to communicate in all languages for sure, but you know, um, English is the third hardest language in the world to learn. And I had a dog once that taught me language was nothing more than paying attention to who you're around. And to me, that's the most important thing, just paying attention.
Yeah, I could see that. What has been the best thing you have ever bought off Amazon?
Hmm. Best thing I ever bought off of Amazon. You're going to laugh. It was a snow cone machine.
Hmm. Okay. Was it good?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, it was about 2 days early. And for some reason, Amazon thought it was late and they sent me my money back on the machine and didn't ask for the machine back.
Oh, okay. That's unusual, but hey, it's a win-win.
Absolutely.
Nice. If you were hosting a dinner party and you can invite 5 guests who either are dead or alive, who would you invite?
George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Donald Trump, Dale Earnhardt Sr. I think that'd be about it.
Okay. Nice, nice. Looks very presidential for sure.
Maybe so, but they were patriots, weren't they?
Oh yeah,
Oh, let me
absolutely.
include John Wayne in that.
Ah, okay. Okay. What was the last book you've read?
Hmm. Last book I read, I believe that was The Green Mile by Stephen King.
Oh, all right then. If someone wrote a book about you, what do you think its title would be?
Oh, Lord. I don't even know if I dare to guess that. I really have no idea. I know I'm writing one on my life that is entitled I Have 1,000 Stories, Some Are Funny, All Are True. Now, if somebody else were to write it, it may not bear the same title.
Yeah, absolutely. How did you spend your last birthday?
Hmm. My last birthday I spent in the hospital with my girlfriend.
Okay then. What flavor of ice cream do you wish existed?
Oh, I thought it still did exist. I love that. What is it? It's a caramel cream or something like that. That is an awesome ice cream. Anything caramel, I'm with it.
Sweet. I would actually like to try that someday.
It's good.
Yeah. Who was the last person you've talked to?
The last person I talked to,
Mm-hmm.
hmm, that would be my brother.
Cool.
About about 20 minutes ago.
Very well. What's your favorite kind of dessert?
Oh wow. I would almost say that's an unfair question. Um, as far as favorite desserts go, I'm a big fan of bread pudding, lemon icebox pies. Um, what are they called? Pralines. Those are spectacular. I got a sweet tooth, so a favorite dessert's really kind of hard to nail down. Those are the top on the list, though.
Yeah. I actually feel hungry now. If you were chosen to colonize a new planet, would you take the offer?
No, I think there's too much on this planet we still need to learn.
Yeah, that's a very good point. What kind of music do you often listen to?
Hmm. I hope none of my rock and roll friends are listening to this, but I love classical music and soft jazz.
Oh, me too. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Good question. I have no idea. Um, is it good? Yes. A good sandwich? I don't know. I think roast beef makes a good sandwich. A hot dog? I don't know if we call that a sandwich.
It's complicated. There's a sausage and a on a curved bun. No, it's
Right.
just one bun, not two.
Right. Just one bun. That's not, that does not constitute a sandwich.
Well, now you know the answer. Hot dog is not a sandwich. If you had to lose one of your senses, which of your senses would you choose to lose?
Mm, that's a tough question. Um, if I had to lose one of my senses, I would have to say at this point in my life, it would have to be my sight.
Yeah, okay. Cool, cool.
Well, most everything I did growing up in the racing business when I was building racing engines, everything I did was done by feel, by touch. Even in the construction business, it was by feel, by touch. And so I think if I had to lose any sense, it would have to be my sight because I rely a lot on my hearing. So I think my sight would be all right to lose if I had to lose one.
All right then. Sounds sounds a valid point. What is the one thing you can't live without?
At this point, I'm having a real hard time living without my girlfriend. Oddly enough,
Ah,
that's what I think about more than anything else.
yeah. Would you sleep on the wall or sleep on the ceiling?
I'm the guy that can sleep anywhere. I finally learned how to sleep standing up in boot camp. So I would say the wall.
Okay. Do you pour the milk in before the cereal or do you put the cereal before the milk?
Always the cereal before the milk.
Yeah, like who puts the milk first, then the cereal?
Well, if you pour the milk first, you don't have enough room for the cereal you want to eat. The milk is
Yeah.
there. Yeah, see? I mean,
Ah, oh, oh, man.
who does that?
I don't know, but I don't want to beat them.
I don't either. They don't get enough
Uh,
food.
oh man. Oh, that's crazy. What should they teach in high school, but they don't?
Now, that question could take a long time to answer, but we'll start with the Constitution of the United States, at least in this country.
Yeah, that is that's actually a very good idea to like understand the history of the country that you were born and raised in, what it stands for. Not many people know about that anymore. It's kind of
That's
sad.
it is sad, and I speak for the United States because this is where I was born, raised. This is my home, and I don't mean that everybody should study the Constitution of the United States. However, I mean whatever country you live in, you need to know your history. I mean, you need to be proud of your history. You need to be proud of your heritage, right? And I think that's something that I believe worldwide has been lacking. You know,
Yeah,
so I do believe every country needs to teach their children to be proud of where they are from. This is your home. Be proud of it. Take care of it, right?
indeed. If you could host your own talk show, who would you have on?
Hmm. Who would I have on? Unfortunately, a lot of the people I would like to have on are not with us anymore, but John Wayne comes to mind. Like I said, he's not around anymore, but oh, then there's John Voight. I would love to have him on. Um, Donald Trump. Why not Donald Trump? You know, um, maybe even, gosh, I don't know. There's so many people I could think of. I would love to have on. You know what? Let's go with base level, top tier type of person. I would love to have Tucker Carlson on my show.
All right then. That's interesting. That'd be a pretty interesting conversation to have.
I think it would big brain me all the way to the end.
Very nice then. What's your favorite type of day?
hmm. I like a cool morning. One that starts at about 45 to 50 degrees, never gets above 67, 68 degrees. That's what I call good working weather.
Okay, I can see that. What natural landmarks would you like to see someday?
Sadly, here in America, most of the natural landmarks have been taken down, but I've talked extensively about this to my dad, even my brother. I think that a lot of the the old castles or what they call ruins in Ireland, I would love to see.
Yeah, that is quite a sight to behold.
Haven't been there yet, even though my aunt is from Ireland.
Oh, nice. But I have my grandmother's part Irish and my granddad's also Scottish, so
Great mix.
yes.
Yeah, I love it.
And that is all we have for this episode. It was great having you on, Chris, talking about your podcast and many other things. So comprehensible, it's amazing. Everything else has been great.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And until next time, stay tuned for more.